thing to get a new hitting coach. It's another thing entirely to let that hitting coach be the hitting coach. And it's a third thing beyond both of those to have an overall impact on the offense. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. Comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Matt Haig is, of course, the new hitting coach taking over for the much beleaguered and rightly beleaguered Andy Haynes, who, by every accounting I've had, did nothing more than adopt and deliver on the approach that Ben Cherington himself prefers. That's not me talking. They both acknowledged it. They both acknowledged that they were looking for, well, in different words, extreme patience at the plate, seeing a lot of pitches, running up pitch counts, although they backtracked on that terminology over the final year or so when it became unpopular. Haig doesn't really have that. Haig, his own point of pride, and he's expressed this since being hired by the Pirates, is that he works with each hitter on a case-by-case basis. Player-centric development. Now, you're going to roll your eyes at that the same way I just did in saying it, because player-centric development was exactly what Cherington hung, not just his hat, he hung his whole outfit on that concept back when he was hired in late 2019. And it sounded really good. One problem, his development people, his instructional people have been even worse in that regard than Neil Huntington's were. Everything to them is, let's see, sinkers are really all the rage. Let's everybody throw a sinker. Let's everybody throw a changeup. The same thing has gone into the hitting plan. It's been, what's everyone doing? Okay, now we're going to do that. And one of the things that I feel has really hurt this franchise in these 5+ years under Cherington is that they've never bucked any trend. I can't emphasize this point often enough or loudly enough. The Pirates don't ever do something where you say, whoa, look what they're trying in Pittsburgh. I wonder if that's going to work. You know, when I was in Bradenton a few days ago, and I asked Derek Shelton about something that he does every spring. He emphasizes running, gotta run, take those extra bases. We believe in that. Well, he doesn't. He does in the spring, and he does in the first week or so of April. And then he gets a bunch of people thrown out because they telegraph everything that they're doing. Ask Ji-Hwan Bae about that sometime. And there it goes. It's gone. For the whole season, they just don't do it. They only take bases in the most certain of situations. The Pirates had, let me look it up for you here, since I'm sitting at my laptop. They had 160 steals last year, which was kind of like middle of the road. And you don't even think of them as being middle of the road in that regard, do you? They were only thrown out 19 times. Now, you can say, wow, that's awesome. You don't want to be giving away outs on the base paths. And to an extent, that's true. But you have to score runs. It's the literal object of the game. And when you don't have power, and I don't just mean home runs, I'm talking about doubles, triples, anything that's mass production of offense, you have to keep moving along the white lines. You have to keep moving. And they don't do it. They don't activate on hit and runs. They don't activate on ground balls in a certain direction. They never, ever, ever try to hit the ball in a certain direction other than the obligatory, lead off double, ground out to the right side, go back to the dugout. Everybody's high-fiving you. There's not at all an aggressive combined feel to this offense, even when it's at its best. And I say that with one eyebrow raised. And I don't know that anything's going to be different under Haig. It's wonderful that there's a new person in. It's wonderful that Haig comes with not only the background and the credentials that he does, but he has people who played for him in Toronto, in the Toronto system, who swear by him. That's great. The Pirates never did that with Haynes. They haven't had someone like that since Rick Eckstein was the batting coach. That's good. That's all well and good. But to get to somewhere where you can look at the personnel that are in this lineup, and I'm purposely leaving that out of the conversation other than the power thing, and say, okay, I can work with each one of these individual hitters to get the most out of them. Great. Okay, awesome. We'll see how that goes. Fix Jack Sawinski and we'll talk, right? Okay, but how do you do that and turn that into something where you say, okay, now there's a Pittsburgh style of offense. There's an offense with which you can build up a system. You can build up an organization. You can acquire draft picks who might have skills that other teams aren't necessarily seeking. Are you following me on this now? Yeah, none of that exists here. There's no plan. It's look around, see what everybody else is doing, and see if we can do it too, albeit with players who cost, 1/10 as much. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
J1Q comes from Chris Smith, who says, DK, after listening to your Wednesday Daily Shot, I'm wondering, do the Pirates continue to rely on their Moneyball analytics 99% of the time? I know the owner of the team is extremely cheap, but it feels like an outdated philosophy. Chris, I'm going to seize upon this opportunity, not prey upon. I respect you. I like you. I'm really glad you're here, and I'm grateful for the question. But there are so many misconceptions about what Moneyball was, let alone what it might be to a team currently, that I'm going to take this chance to attempt to clarify that. Despite the term Moneyball, it's a lot like global warming, which was just a lousy idea and a lousy phrasing for what's actually just climate change. It doesn't mean that one day it's going to be super warm, another day it's going to... No, it just meant that the Earth overall is getting a little bit warmer and it's messing things up in a lot of different places. But you know what? Once that one was out of the bag, it was never coming back. Moneyball, I think a lot of people took to mean find a way to do it cheap. Because, of course, whether you read the book or saw the movie, and you should always, always, always read the book first, you'll know that the A's had the most cheapskate of owners, and you'll know that Billy Beane, the general manager, was operating on a shoestring at every level of his operation. And that's what a lot of people remember from it. What they don't remember, or what doesn't get shown in the book or the movie, because it ends at a certain point, is that the A's continued to function this way for many, many years. And in doing so, they changed approaches all the time, because that was the point. That's what Moneyball was about. It was about exploiting inefficiencies in the various markets. Are teams looking, for example, and this was what happened in Moneyball, for players who just get on base, regardless of how they get on base? whether it's a home run, whether it's a walk, whether they're really good at getting hit by pitches or whatever. And there actually have been players like that. Craig Wilson was one for the Pirates, if you go back a little bit. How do they get on? Do they get on? Well, we're just going to go and round those guys up until everybody else in baseball sees that they come with value and they start paying those on-base guys a lot more than they ever had. Well, then if you're Oakland, you got to switch away and find some other market inefficiency, and you got to keep moving. You got to keep shifting. The Pirates do none of this. Everything that they do, and this even applies to the business side, and I've brought this up before, and maybe it wasn't clear enough the way I explained it, because I've had other questions about this that followed. They want to act like they're the Yankees, meaning that they're playing the same game, that they're competing for the same talent, that they're trying to get an offense together that's built on the all or nothing style that most hitters have at the plate. And it's dumb. No, it's not even dumb. It's idiotic. You're trying to play the home run or walk game in a sport where all of the actual home run guys are taken. You don't have any. I love Brian Reynolds. He's not a home run guy. They have some decent hitters, less than a handful, but they don't have home run guys. And yet, this previous hitting coach was having them do exactly what the Yankees and everybody else were doing because that was the industry norm and they just want to be accepted by the rest of the industry. And yuck. I hope this helps a little bit, Chris. I really do. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.